what are conversations? Because we're looking at AI. Let's first just try to spend 2 minutes on, what are conversations? From a company point of view, how do we drive conversations with our customers? Now, a conversation typically can mean a lot of things. Is like a lot of us are now receiving in India messages to link our Aadhaar card to all our financial, portfolios and all our transactions financially. So that is also a conversation. But what happens is these conversations become a monologue. Now, to make a monologue into a dialogue, a company needs to spend a lot of money, right? Because there needs to be somebody who will talk back to the customer, and you need a person to do that, either talk or chat. But that is where the conversational AI comes into play, and I will be talking more about it as we go ahead. So, for any company, acquiring a customer and then keeping the customer is like very important, right? For an insurance company, like Amrita said, these are the most busiest of months because everybody wants to, show their tax savings and get into the insurance bit and get their tax. But in that, what happens is we need to go out and reach out to a lot of customers. A lot of customers are reaching out to the insurance company. So that takes a lot of bandwidth in the lead generation. Keep that thought with you. I will explain to you how we try to solve this, in further slides. Similarly, for customer relationships, from an insurance company point of view, what happens is we typically just tell the customer that, your renewal is due and please pay. Or we tell them that, okay, you've not entered your nominee details, you need to update that in your policy. There isn't too much, that we can talk to our customers in an insurance domain. But even that, when we tell the customer, okay, update nominee details, or when the customer is asking us, for fund value, we make it a really cumbersome process. That's how we started the entire, context for this webinar. We make it cumbersome because we tell the customer, okay, you know what, you send me an email or you talk to my customer service executive, he will raise a request, and then maybe we'll, get back to you on your registered email ID in 48 hours or so. But these days, everybody wants everything instant, right? I mean, all of us want our answers now. So what happens is when a customer comes and says, look, I want to know my fund value and I want to know right now what it is. I'm not going to wait for like 2 hours to know my fund value. What we tried to achieve with the chatbot was exactly that. We want it to be real time and we want it to be convenient, right? Because continuing with the same example, if I want to know my fund value, I want to know it now. So if I am on any channel of communication with you, I want a response on that channel. I do not want to be given responses on different channels, correct? So the conversational AI basically helps you achieve these goals that most of our companies have, right? So, what do the digital strategists today want? Why is digital such a big thing? Because it reduces cost. I mean, that is why all these e-commerces have, kind of mushroomed all over, because it is reducing the cost of having a shop, showing the customer everything, having all of that stored in one place, etc. Digital is equal to reduction in cost. So what cost does it reduce? It reduces the cost of acquisition for me, because the customer comes online and I tell him, okay, you know what, these are my benefits, and I make it conversational. If the customer comes and tells me, okay, I want to protect my family, what should I do? So I tell him, all right, you give me a few details and I'll tell you, in say 7,000 a year, you can actually have a term plan for your family, for you and your spouse. After I've done that acquisition bit, right, after that I need to make sure that the customer stays with me. That is where the entire journey of, whenever the customer is, reaching out to us through any of the touch points, any of the digital touch points, that is where we want to, be there and make sure that we drive the loyalty. And to be real time, obviously, like I said, you have to be real time to where the customer is and what they want and when they want and where they want. So, for example, if you're on Facebook and you wanted to check something about your insurance policy, you would want to do it on Facebook, right? You don't want to get out and get into a toll-free number, understand, okay, whom to call, see if the calling time is all right to call the call center or is it shut down. So that makes a lot of, it delays the conversation from the customer side. I'm going to tend to not want to go ahead and have this conversation, correct? Because we need to solve all of this, conversational AI is really a big deal. Because my customer is now in the instant zone, my customer is who wants information. He is a well-informed customer as well, right? Because there is so much information available out there. There's so much exposure that most of your customers who are digitally savvy are aware about a lot of things, and you need to be present where the customer is. Like, for example, on Facebook, if a lot of people in India spend a lot of time on Facebook, as a company, do I want to be there? Obviously. I want to be there because I want my people, my customers to be able to reach out to me whenever they want to. Now, Facebook Messenger has a lot of bots, right? We've all seen those. We've seen, so even Aditya Birla Capital, the life insurance bit is on Facebook, and you can do everything that you can on my website today that you can do on the bot, in the Facebook Messenger bot, right? So security-wise, it's not a problem because the customer is in their secure section of the Messenger, so you can talk to them. That is so. What happens is I do not need a separate app for my customer. He does not need to download a separate thing and then get into servicing or to understand what product is good for him or her, etc. So that reduces, the necessity of the customer to have multiple places and to remember multiple places of how to reach out to the company. The company is actually available where the customer is. So I mean, this is how we envisage our conversations with our customers. Okay, so we wanted to start with a bit of lead generation, and we wanted to continue into customer service. So we started small. We took about 4 weeks to get out our first version of the bot. We said we will do simple things. We will choose one product, and we will try to see how many people we can actually address the problem of, that they are not understanding what exactly am I supposed to do to get this product. So the buy journey, we tried to simplify the buy journey, and after that what we did was we tried to simplify the customer service journey. Now, if I had to divide all these journeys, they fall into these 3 categories that you can see on the screen. That's informational, transactional, and conversational. So FAQs typically are your informational journey, right? So somebody who comes and says, okay, how do I fill out a claim form? So instead of going to my website and searching where the claim form is, all I do is I ask the bot. I say, okay, can you just tell me how to do this? And the bot comes up with their answer, right? So it's again, I mean, at the cost of sounding repetitive, it becomes really real time and where the customer is. So that's impactful as from a customer experience point of view. If you look at transactional, so those are typically your for an insurance company, what is my fund value, or what are my nominee details, etc. And the conversational is the actual the guiding for the customer. He's saying, okay, you've started this journey, we want you to look at this, and maybe eventually end up buying. So this is the broad categories that we had. While most people do say that you should always start with the informational journey, it's because you can test waters. How are your customers reacting to it, etc. We actually skipped the gun and we went live with informational and with the conversational part, okay? Because we really wanted to see if my ROI is going to be there, if I am going to get my customers where they are. What we considered for that was, so at the onset, all of us have to understand that conversational AI is in its nascent stages, right? It's there, it's learning with us. So we wanted somebody who was open enough to what we wanted to do, as a company, what we wanted to do, what we wanted to achieve, etc. Then we obviously implementation timeline, because today is not the time when you can say, okay, I have like a 5-year plan, and in my third year I look at chatbots. No, if you want to do a chatbot, you have to do it, say, in the next 3 months. That's how quick technology and digital is moving. Obviously, the business impact, which I've explained in my conversation so far, and it had to be future ready. So while we started small, we wanted somebody who could actually integrate with all our core systems, so that we can get the customer data upfront right there on the bot. Okay, we do not want to just be a chatbot that just accepts customer requests, and then it's like it goes back to the same thing. Okay, your request has been accepted, and give us 48 hours to get back to you. We do not want that kind of a service to our customers. So we want it to be future ready, so that everything about the customer that's there in the core system, and what we think is relevant is going to be on the bot. These are a few examples from the bot that we have. Most of you can actually go to our website, that is lifeinsurance.capital.com, and experience this for yourself. But these are a few screen grabs from what we have. So if you see, it always starts with a pleasant, hello, hi. That's become a norm. I understand that's how it is. Most of our bots say hi to us or say a namaste to us, right? So this we decided to give a persona to the bot, because we wanted people to have a near human experience, right? We did not want them to, while we wanted them to know that they're talking to a bot, we still wanted them to have the experience like they were talking to a human, right? We wanted them to have this wow factor of being near human. So what options we had were protect your family, like I said, that we wanted to have our term plan online on the bot, and that's when the customer says, okay, this is what I want to explore, and then he goes into the process of giving us few of his information that help us calculate a premium. Then the customer service. For customer service, what we had was we had a way to understand that what customer you are, right? So we took policy number, we took date of birth, we did the authentication for the customer, because we do not want any random requests, hitting our core system and junk data getting generated and stored there. So that was one bit that we did. So once you get into the protection, what happens is, for protection, it asks you, okay, do you want to get a quote, or do you want to understand more from our FAQs? And so if you say, okay, I want a quote, then it asks you, all right, what's your date of birth, and how much do you want as your sum assured? Are you a smoker or a non-smoker? So these are typically, the inputs that our rule engine needs to throw up a premium. So we did that, but what we did was we did not have it at one go. The way we designed the entire flow was, it was per question. So I say, all right, what's your date of birth? Once the customers entered it, and then went ahead and asked them, okay, how much do you think you need to protect your family for? So somebody would say 1 crore or 2 crore or 5 crores, depending on what they wanted. After that, we would ask, okay, do you smoke, or you are a non-smoker? So those kind of questions kept flowing, and for the customer, it doesn't seem too cumbersome now. You've broken the cumbersome, kind of jinx that insurance has with its customers, and you have made it conversational. They're like almost like chatting with a friend, and at the end of it, you give them a premium, and then they can continue with their buying journey. So these screen grabs show you different FAQs, and the earlier one was showing how we actually went ahead and got the information from the customer. These are other examples of customer service. So when I say, okay, I am a new customer, or I am an existing customer, that is where I will ask, okay, do you want to register with us, or if you're an existing customer, give me these details, and I'll help you do a set of things that we had pre-decided, right? So we were very excited when Disha was went live, and we had a lot of conversations happening on our website after that, and it only went up from the day we went live. And what made it possible was how Avamo made sure that the time to market was really short. So it was just 4 weeks from the time we said, okay, let's do this, let's do this with Avamo, and in 4 weeks we had the first version of our bot up and running. What we got with that was, because Avamo comes with its own expertise and experience, they told us that these are the set of questions that you should have in your bot when you start for an insurance company. So we did not have to start from scratch and say, okay, let's see how the customers react, and from there keep learning in the bot. We were at level 1 when we started off already. So their technology was really, what made us decide that we have to go with them, because time to market was amazing, and the kind of technology and the technology stack that they offer, right? So they have connectors with our courses, they have connectors with social media. So your presence automatically is multifold already. What they do is they also give you a complete set of insights from what happens on your bot. Okay. Their analytics is such that every week we were able to actually tweak our bot to answer a large set of unanswered questions. Because it's a bot and because it's out there, we've had stupid questions also being asked by our customers, right? We've had people who were really serious and asked us the questions that were related to the to insurance and to their policies, but we've also had people ask us, what is the weather? So in that spectrum, Avamo really helped us, how you should answer these questions, right? While we may understand insurance, we never understood how to answer, the peripheral questions that might come up from customers. And if you are not able to answer a customer, he might become irate, right? Because he's not getting the information he's looking for. So how do you handle customers that maybe are asking questions outside your purview? And if your customer is really irate, what Avamo also offers is you can transfer it to a live agent. So Disha says that, all right, I give up, maybe I'm not able to get you. Can I transfer you to a live agent, and they'll take you from there. So that is also what comes inbuilt in the bot with Avamo. So that is one thing that we do not have live as of today, but that was one thing that we really had liked. And it is going to be live, in our future versions, which is not too far, so it's going to be live soon. And making a bot, on Avamo. So when Avamo came and showed us how you can actually build a bot, it's actually as simple as ABC. It's very intuitive. It's GUI based. So all you have to do is drag and drop your flows and make sure that you are covering your ifs and if yes and if no correctly in that flow, and the bot actually delivers it, and you can actually go and test it out and see, okay, how is the bot reacting to these kind of questions. So it was a really agile kind of a process where we had one flow, and then we kept testing and tweaking it with the developers at Avamo, and then we were really happy with what we got. What also happened was that we reduced our cost of acquisition from the website, and by reduced cost, I don't only mean that we spent less dollars. It also means that we were able to tap into leads that we would have typically lost if it were not for the bot, right? So the value of quotes that was generated was about $870K in the first couple of weeks. And those were actually, typically people who were maybe just on my website, and they had not decided to buy, but because they came on the bot, and I was able to prompt them, I was able to actually capture them as a lead and then, kind of take them to closure. So this is what happened after we had deployed our bot, okay. In the first few weeks itself, we had 89% bot accuracy. That's actually a huge number. That's actually a huge number, because getting a bot to be accurate is not a simple task. And you can see these charts here, right? So we've got really great number of users. We've got good accuracy. We've got our number of customer requests actually going up. People were like I said, if you were on Facebook and you wanted to talk to your insurer and you were supposed to get out and get into another email or another application, our customers were not ready to do that, right? But when we went out there with this conversational AI chatbot, what happened was customers also started talking to us. So from the monologue that I was talking about, it started to become a dialogue, and it started to become customer initiated dialogue. I'm sure most of you will agree that we will give our arms and legs to have our customers come and talk to us, right? So yes, it did save money for us, and we're having at least 4 conversations per user, which is a decent number to start with. We need to build on that. It's not the best that we can have. We understand that, but we're starting, right? So we're also learning. We are in our phase 2. We're going to better the bot that we have, but like I said, we started with level 1 and not with level 0. So that's the starting point, and we're going to only go upwards from there. So as our customers are evolving, it's all becoming super specialization, as I like to call it. It's you get what do you exactly want. There might be 10 things out there, but only 0.5 of that might be applicable to you, and that should be available to you when you want it, right? So it's important to understand what your customer wants, which customers want what, and then to make it personal to them. And what better way to do it, rather than doing it over conversations, because man is a social animal. He needs to talk. The way we talk has changed. We are all on WhatsApp. We're all on texting. It's all digital. But humans need to talk, right? So if a company makes it simpler for the customer, I am sure they will reach out and want to talk to us. Thank you.
Thanks, Reva, for this very informative and we could call it conversational session. So we have just about some time for questions coming in. A lot of them in our audience, they want to know, how did Aditya Birla deal with the data setup for the bot? Because that's the first hurdle that most of the companies are reluctant to cross. How did Aditya Birla overcome that trouble of getting the data for the bot and training the bot? If you could just highlight on the data aspect.
Okay. So there were 2-3 things. So I'll first start with the content basically on the bot, right? So like I said, we wanted to do these 4 things in customer service, and we decided about one product that we wanted to give out to the customers. So we had a simple exercise where we listed down what we wanted, and we listed down the flow of how it goes. Then we sat with the team at Avamo, and they actually helped us to make it into a conversational flow for the customer. So that was one thing that we did. The other thing was we tried to look into our records at the call center and see what does my typical customer want, right? So we looked at our volumes and we saw what is actually, if I put on the bot, I will have those many less calls, obviously not on day 1, but eventually, if I can make it available there. So that is how we went about the content part of it. For the security bit, insurance is very stringent in its data center location and how the data is stored and what customer data are you going to store on an external server, etc. So when we started, yes, Avamo did not have a server in India because it's all cloud-based. But on our request, it was made available in India because it's on Amazon Web Services. It was made available in India, and that kind of pushed away the regulatory requirements for us. Going on, what also happens is Avamo does not store any of our customer data. That's the architecture that they have built, right? So they will only talk to my core system, and they will only display the data, but they will not store any customer data at their end. So then my information security team was quite okay with it, and they were like, all right, if you're not storing any customer data and you're only using our system to validate, and you're just going to show the values that are coming in, that's going to be okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks, Riva. Yeah, that pretty much answers most of the queries that our audience had. We also had another question coming in regarding the personalization of the bot. So, you mentioned the future is all about personalizing conversations. With respect to insurance, particularly, can you highlight an example of how a future personalized conversation would be? Maybe with respect to, quote or claim status.
Yeah, so what happens is, let me go back to the Facebook Messenger bot that we have, right? Once you're on the Facebook Messenger, the bot knows who you are, correct? So it basically remembers that you are this person. And obviously, when you start, you go ahead and get yourself verified. But after that, it remembers. It remembers who you are. It remembers what kind of questions you were asked. So if you had, for example, asked how to file a claim, the example that I started with, and then say after some time you just say status, the bot should understand that I want to understand my claim status. So that's what I mean by getting it completely personalized for the kind of needs that you have with the company.
Sure. Would it be possible for an SMS conversation somewhere in the future, or a voice-based conversation? If you could highlight around that personalization around different platforms as well as over voice.
Voice, yes. I mean, Avamo is already doing voice, right? We have a voice-based bot that is already available. We haven't completely, full-fledged started to use it, but yes, it's available. The voice bit is available. So, like you can talk to Siri, you can actually talk. Any other questions?
I think, yeah, that's about it, and we are running out of time as well. So with that, we've come to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much, Riva, for sparing your valuable time and conversing with us about conversational AI and the benefits of having chatbots for insurers. I'm sure many companies who are gearing up for the busy season ahead would have a lot of informative takeaways from this session. And yeah, I hope the audience enjoyed it as much as we at Avamo here enjoyed organizing this webinar.
I hope so too. Thank you for having me, Amrita, and the entire Avamo team.
Yeah, our pleasure, Riva. Thank you. And thank you, audience, for tuning in. If any of you have questions regarding the recording, yes, the recording will be available to all of you, and we'll be sending it within a day or two. So watch out for our email. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.